Welcome. So, education in the metaverse. I feel like just hearing that statement sounds like there's a lot of work to do.
Yeah, I think one of the most important aspects of learning in VR opposed to learning online is that one has to be present. And so it's like being in a classroom physically where you're there, I suppose you can sleep in a classroom, but in an online course, one really never knows if the person is paying attention or not.
This is for sure the biggest advantage of social VR in this case, because it's like really in a classroom. You can take one or two students and say, "Come on over here. I will show you something from the different perspective. Go around the 3D model, take a look at it, and explain something about that."
As far as education goes, honestly, like for what I'm learning in here and my experience so far is as a kid, I didn't really connect in school with the reading of the book and read this chapter and then we're going to take a test. Like the minute the History Channel came out and then I was able to watch this thing, like it just was so much more interesting to learn it. So now to be able to, that next step is to go in it. I feel like that is gonna make just people retain it just so much more, the information.
There are so many possibilities. And we should not take this term metaverse just always to this point of it's just VR. It's much more. Metaverse is bigger. It's much more of that. And education has so many different fields.
Right, have a seat on the couch here.
Can you hear me?
Good. Well,
Hello?
welcome, Nicholas. We're happy to have you here. We've just been talking about education online in general. And
Okay.
glad we caught up with you. And so I basically told my colleagues here the story about how we met a couple of years ago now. I believe it was just before the COVID virus set in, and you started the Unity course here in AltSpace VR. And I believe I went through 3 of those courses. So welcome. It's good to see you again. And if anyone knows education in VR, I think it's you. So excellent.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess I could give an introduction about myself. That's okay. If that's okay.
Sure.
Okay, so yeah. So I met John. He took one of my courses a while back. I basically run the CSV R community as well as the universe. We've been teaching in the metaverse for over 3 years now. We've had over 500 students go through our courses. Right now, we basically have a program teaching students to go from a complete beginner to building and publishing their own VR app. And yeah, we're one of the earliest companies to actually teach full courses in the metaverse, and we've been doing that in AltSpace. So there's been a lot of learning that we've done. We've seen a lot of growth in the last few months. Probably most metaverse companies have. So we had like 3 times as many students sign up this month that we did in the previous one, and we actually doubled our enrollment total for this last cohort. So we're launching a bunch of new courses and keeping up basically with the trends of the metaverse and becoming a place where any instructor can publish their own courses with us in the metaverse.
Very cool.
That sounds like a business, like a serious business you're running there.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, we have a team of 6 right now. We're raising our seed round to basically expand to 4 new programs by the end of this year. And then later on we want to open up the marketplace. So just a partnership we have with individual creators, but anyone can just go on our site and publish their own courses with us.
So the next slide here I have is just going back to one of the memories that I have. This is virtual graduation. So we put together a list of questions that we wanted to go through. And
Teaching in VR rather than traditional methods. I think that's a big topic.
Yeah, so I mean, so traditionally, like the way you usually teach in education is in person. That's been the way of like learning for basically up until the last like few years, where more learning is being done online. But yeah, so in-person learning is still the best option for education in terms of immersion, in terms of engagement, in terms of relationship building. And that's the type of learning you see at university or at a boot camp. The issue with that type of learning is that it can be very inconvenient and non-affordable. So, having to relocate to go to university, having to pay $70,000 in tuition, there's barriers to entry for a lot of people. So that's why the shift to online education has been so um, so important in democratizing like a lot of learning. So that's why big, massive online course sites like Udemy and Coursera became so popular, but they don't replicate that kind of in-person learning experience you get. So those courses that you find on these big online sites have on average just a 7% completion rate, and that's a huge issue. That's basically indicating that a lot of people will take these courses, but no one feels engaged or immersed enough in order for them to actually finish them. Our courses have 4 times as high graduation rates than those traditional online courses, and we found that 80% of students actually prefer to learn in the metaverse versus traditional like 2D video conferencing solutions. We are working towards a marketplace model where we provide the tools and platform where creators can advertise and also build their own learning communities and offer courses. And we've only done self-created courses to get that off the ground and show that this is the future of online learning.
Do you see when people are graduating, there will be a demand for these jobs, like after they take these courses, like there's already work.
Yeah, I mean the whole thing is we're a community. So like what you don't get in Udemy or Udacity or whatever is like no one knows who you are and no one really cares about the instructors don't know who you are. They will not be able to help you because of that. But because our instructors interact with the class live, we have a Discord, we have the live classes, they know who each of the students are. I know almost all the students that have gone through our courses. John's one of them. We've had over 500 students. And so we have students that would just get jobs naturally. We have students that are working as a project manager for Bad VR, a senior technical program manager for Walgreens for XR experiences, a VR level designer for Supernatural, which was acquired by Meta, web AR developer for Continuum. There'll be like students that will graduate the courses, they'll get in these high positions, and then they need to hire for new positions. And that's where they'll reach out to me or someone in our community. Either they'll post it directly on the Discord chat, or they'll reach out to me and say, like, you have specific recommendations for students that and then I would recommend those. I have other students that I connect to, other co-founders for the new VR ventures. And what I think is the real value of going to a university or a boot camp, it's not the content. Content is basically free at this point. You could find it on YouTube. There's a lot of blog posts. The difference between getting an opportunity, not getting an opportunity, a lot of times comes down to your network. So facilitating that relationship building and like network, and we think the metaverse can do a lot better job of that, kind of making those relationships.
I know a number of people that I only know because I attended your courses. In fact, I mean, this whole studio wouldn't be here if I hadn't. You really pushed us along to build. So thank you.
Yeah, and I know John. The reason why I'm in this conference is because we met through our community. And again, that's not something you're going to find watching a video online or scouring a discussion forum.
Really think that this is the future because you can be present, you can interact with people, and as you say, you can build contacts, you can get to know people in a whole different way than you could previously.
Do you have any special, let's say, features, techniques that you are using a lot in your courses?
For our courses, we teach VR development. So a lot of the concepts you learn in VR development are three-dimensional because you're building three-dimensional apps. So we have basically experiences that will demonstrate like the difference between certain concepts. We go over like concepts like lighting, version control, decimation for assets, and then obviously the programming concepts. So basically visualizing three-dimensional concepts in 3D, but also just making concepts that aren't inherently 3D. Humans naturally observe things in a three-dimensional space. When it's presented to them in 2 dimensions, they can still understand it, but it takes more work for them to like contextualize that. The issue though is that for online learning, especially the fields that are in most demand are not like the kind of sciences. It's really the technical programming. Those are the ones that are the most popular right now. We go to Udemy, Udacity, huge enrollment totals, people wanting to learn those technical skills. So that's what we're going to be building for. So, like the first 7 programs we're going to be offering are going to be in metaverse and Web 3.0 related fields.
Interesting.
I mean,
So when did you say you were going to launch that program?
So the Blender 3D modeling course is coming out this May. The course after that we're going to launch is AR development, mobile AR development. After that, it's going to be XR design. After that, it's going to be XR project management, the Web3 technologies of cryptocurrency, NFT development, blockchain.
now bringing this together with all the functionalities, programming, let's say, make it interactive. Let's say programming in an environment like this is a little bit hard because
Oh yeah.
writing code, for example.
So we structure our courses to basically acknowledge the limitations there are with the metaverse right now. And the metaverse is very broadly. We use Altspace. That's the platform we build on right now. We are looking into other metaverse platforms because we do want to be interoperable. But with Altspace and basically any metaverse platform, you can't type inside the app. If you're in VR, if you're on your computer, you have a multi-monitor setup, or you switch between tabs. It's easy to take notes. It's easy to switch from Unity back to Altspace. So we structure our courses to be a flipped classroom approach. So that basically means that during the week, that's where they're going over the content, building their projects, doing the assignments, getting help on our Discord. We don't do any. We do like we teach new concepts in 3 dimensions, but we're not doing any programming during our live classes. It's more dealing with the concepts themselves and testing them on that, and then visualizing them.
Do your students have to purchase a headset themselves, or are you planning or already maybe renting headsets?
Yeah, so basically you can attend in any way. One of the interesting things we find is that during our first class, there'll be a split 50-50 on the live stream and 50 on in the metaverse. By the third class, or by the third course, that split goes to 80-20. So 80% of students will attend in the metaverse and only 20% will attend in live stream. We're seeing probably a similar transition that we had from the portable computer to the mobile phone, and in terms of adoption, that's what we're hoping for and seeing some early signs.
They're an architect, an engineer, they're not quite happy with their job. Like, what do you find the most common people that are coming to you as far as a background that would like love this program?
35% of them are looking to explore a new career. So they're in their career, they want to move into XR, they're seeing the opportunities, the new jobs that are getting built in that industry. And then 25% are just looking to upskill. So working within their organization to get a better position or be able to take on a new project at their current company that's working XR. There are a few hobbyists, some people have like a job they like, they're a programmer, and they just want to build some apps on the side. But the majority of our students are looking to get career opportunities. That's what we're focusing our program for.
I love that. So, do you think some people right out of high school, this is something that they could learn, or do you think it's over their head?
As long as you're 13 year older, you should be able to go through our courses and successfully complete them. And we've seen that from our students in that age range. No previous experience. And right now we're like severely like underpriced. When John took the courses, I think we're charging like $100 for a course. If you look at what a live VR development program is, you'll see it ranges between $4,000 to $12,000 per course. Right now, even we're at $599, and we're going to be doubling. We've like doubled our prices basically every run because we haven't seen any shift in demand from doubling. So we're going to keep doubling until like we hit that inflection point. Right now, we're like about 8 to 24 times less than our competitors.
Yeah, no, that's a very important point because I remember looking at courses, and I won't mention the competition, but you're very, very well priced when it comes to learning VR and any adjunct technologies like world building. And I would highly recommend that people sign up before the price does go up. So.
Well,
Because you're providing the same value as these other courses that are charging thousands. So,
and those courses,
I appreciate that. And I don't think they have the same sense of community as you do either. I think that you really provide that sense of community, which is important.
Yeah, I mean, our thesis is basically learning in the metaverse is better than what you're going to find on Zoom, and we're the only one actually teaching the metaverse. I'm sure basically every probably companies will start shifting towards what we're doing now because metaverse has become such a big concept. But we're kind of first to market there. So what they're going to be doing now is what we were doing 2 years ago.
That's awesome that you're kind of ahead of it. Have you come together with some of your students and graduates and everything like that, and done some like group projects that you guys are building together as well?
We have community events. We have like socials. We'll have talks. We'll do like on specific concepts like photogrammetry, 360 hemisphere or 360 photospheres. And then we have game nights. Like we'll go play Rec Room together as a community.
Right.
Awesome.
Just talking about the community, we have a community here as well. And we just have 13 minutes left something. If you guys have a question, please raise your hand so that we can still transfer that to Nicolas.
So I just wanted to say one of the things that I love about Nick's classes is that he allows us to come back and take the class again once we finish, because there's always things to review and refresh ourselves on and keep up to date. And
It's great to hear, and that's a great concept that you can go back and when you have questions, or you can find, like, as I said, those topics are really big and really deep. And if you have you're coming to a border and say, well, I need to catch up on that. It's awesome to have someone to go back to. That's great.
Yeah, it also
Yeah.
goes, totally against some of the arguments that were made, when online education first started to become popular, that, you wouldn't be able to socialize with students, you would be isolated,
Right.
etc. And this shows that you aren't. It's, as you say, you've built a community that really doesn't differ from any brick and mortar university community, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's what we're hoping to do, is really inspire that relationship building you get at a university or a boot camp. I think that's one of the most valuable things you get. So we're working on more ways to.
Can they just take the Blender class, or do they have to go through the
Yep.
whole process of all the classes?
No, you can just take, when we launch the Blender class in May, you could just take the Blender class if you're not interested in. Yeah, because if you just want to do 3D modeling, that's fine. That's really reasonable. You can be a 3D modeler without doing any of the programming end. So
Okay, so I'm a brand ambassador for Galaxy Gaming.
yeah, just check our website, tryuniverse.com. We'll probably put a posting out in May, or let me see if I can. I'll message you.
Thank you. Okay, great, cool.
Awesome.
Okay, and how long have you guys been in business with the teaching the Blender again?
Oh, teaching Blender. This is our we teach VR development initially. We're launching our new Blender class in May, so this will be our first run.
Okay, cool.
And the first run will be at a discounted rate because it is our first run.
Okay, great. This is exciting. Thank you guys so much for allowing me to be involved in this. This is great.
Lots of information sharing going on. So I love that you kind of took this as, hey, there's a lot of people that need to learn, and now empowering people. And it's going to be very interesting to see how, as the years go by, how many people that the difference that you're making here with, because there's so much to be built.
Even the fact that Kalima was here today, I didn't. Kalima, you must have found out about it from Allspace, or maybe John mentioned. Like, the cool thing about the metaverse is you could just run into people. So having like this kind of persistent space that's not just like Zoom events that you have to put in your calendar and click a link to join. Anyone you could find anyone in Allspace that from our classes or know from other communities here. It's really cool.
Yes, I really think you started things. I see, Kaleem, we've known each other now for 17 months, almost 2 years, and that was as a result of Nicholas's classes, which really has created a builder community, and thank you again for that. Closing questions, thoughts?
Yeah, just we always have those standard questions for our guests, basically. And now that we have two people that run through your classes, it would be interesting just to know, do you think that the metaverse as a concept could be something, or will be something for the future? You really would start to work in to find your day job, and do you imagine to keep that, or do you think it's just something for recreation or 1 hour a day or something? That would be interesting to hear what this concept metaverse is for you.
Yeah. I mean, I think we're betting on that first vision you mentioned, and I think right now for me and probably most people, it would be utopian to think that you'd be working in the metaverse and living in there. But I think when I was talking about like what the mobile phones, like if you were to tell someone live that you will be spending 8 hours a day on a computer screen, my computer used to look on my phone 7 hours, my friends is like 7 to 8 hours, and even for younger generations of my own, it's more so. So basically, you're seeing trends that, especially within the pandemic, everything's going remote. Work's going remote, learning's going remote. People's lives is going to be digital. That's going to be the majority of how they spend their time, unfortunately. And it's going to seem dystopian, but it's only going to increase in that level. Whether it's going to be some sort of like everyday device with glasses or VR goggles, like most likely that's what you'll probably see in a 10-year period. Yeah, we think it's going to be basically the majority of how people spend their lives is going to be digital, not in the physical realm.
Great. Nicolas, any closing comments or thoughts?
No, I would say, yeah, appreciate your time in the metaverse. I think right now we're in the early stages of it. It's come a long way since I started and met John for the first time here. Learned a lot of growth. So I would say try and get involved in it some way. I do believe this will be like the next technological trend. So I think if you can get some sort of equity in it, whether it's getting the skills or getting employment or investing or starting your own venture, I think it's definitely going to be a growing industry in the years to come.
Right. Well said. Good. Well, thank you
Awesome.
very much for joining us. And we meet here every Tuesday at 11 a.m. Eastern. And
Yeah.
next week, we're going to be talking about journalism and the metaverse, how journalists are redefining journalism basically by using AI, for instance. So next week at 11 a.m. Eastern. Thank
I
you.
think some people should invest in this course rather than buying some piece of real estate that they don't necessarily.
Yes, buy real estate at your own peril.
Yes,
Well,
definitely.
learn how to build first before you buy the land, right? Learn a little
You
bit more.
can build your land by yourself in that after the course. That's not a big mansion. That's not a big deal. Anyway,
Exactly.
right.
Yes.
And you can
Thanks for
call it
being here.
anything you want, Chicago or whatever, right?
Yes.
Exactly.
Good. Well,
Thank
again,
you.
thanks for everyone for joining us. Been very enjoyable. Thank you. Nice meeting you.
Bye, guys.
Have a great
Yeah.
week.
Okay, guys, thank you so much for having me.